Hi, friends. Thank you for watching and God bless. I was just watching a video and it was talking about how to get to heaven. And I was just remembering when I used to be a New Ager, and I just assumed that everybody was going to go to heaven, that ultimately God would forgive people like Hitler. Um, because I had this belief that even evil people were just greatly mistaken and that God would uh, override that. And so, anyways, fast forward, and I just started seeing what was going on in the news, and that there was this occult symbolic trend, and a lot of just unthinkably horrible things were associated with people doing these occult symbols, which continues until this day. You'll see these people do these things, and they do disclosure. They tell exactly who they are, what they do, and the majority of people just laugh or think it's just them just making something up or just being silly. And anyway, so I realized that when somebody says something, they mean it. When a woman is saying, "I'm actually a man," when a model or a famous actress or whatever says, "I'm a man," and they say it with a straight face, I realize that these people are actually telling what they mean. Like they're being honest. And there's just so much more to go into that, but I won't, just for the brevity of this video. So when I realized that there was evil, and that this evil was actually part of a religion, a cult that's satanic, and there's so many, iterations and whatever. Um, and I noticed that a lot of mainstream culture had number one referred excuse me, I'm just gonna they constantly have biblical references in a name, in music lyrics, a music album, symbolic, symbols in an image or clothing or archetypes. So there's a lot of biblical and just a lot of biblical references, and everything hates Jesus. So there's a lot of truthers out there who are trying to say that Jesus and God and the Bible is just one of the many myths. And if you look at what the King James Bible says, that it actually predicts what has been going on down to like the nuances of today. And from things like transgendered female to males giving birth, to superstars doing like pointing their tongue out to the side, uh, with a wide mouth, people doing winking. And these are such seemingly minor details, and yet and I'm just skimming the surface. I mean, the Bible is much more in depth. I recommend Gene Kim's Real Bible Believers YouTube channel. He actually just goes word for word, current events, news, and he links it up to the Bible. So for those who are like trying to blow off that, trying to invalidate that Jesus is real, Jesus came to set the captives free. So if you're a truther, you know that this is some sort of prison planet kind of situation that we're in. And there's no other kind of deity or philosophy that acknowledges the depth of the evil. And that's the thing. The Holy Bible starts off with God telling the Jewish people, stop doing human sacrifices. Stop sacrificing your children. And I know some people are going to be like, what about Abraham sacrificing or God sacrificing? That's another topic. So there is a cult that does child sacrifice because the demons like the energy of the suffering of innocent children. So, anyways, the Bible talked about that from the very beginning. God said he doesn't like it. And yet, that is what is being suppressed. That is what the whole current narrative is trying to hide. Like when you put a big mask on a little children, and you have adult kidnappers also wearing a big mask, do you think it's easier to abduct children and to protect the abductors, the kidnappers, the traffickers? Do you think it's easier when everybody has a mask? Do you think so? Of course. Do you think human trafficking has increased exponentially since the masking, since the suffocation? Do you think that having parents and children being suffocated, do you think that makes them have clearer thinking when they're in an airport or in a large football stadium or something like that? Hi, Lisa Button. Right. The 5 to 7 year old injection, the genetic modification for the 5 and 7 year olds, because they're trying to get their reproductive organs infiltrated with genetic modifications. So my point is that we are in a supernatural paranormal situation, and a lot of people, a lot of truthers will thank you, Lisa. Thank you for your positive feedback that you love my messages, that they're real and needed. Thank you. Because I rub a lot of people the wrong way. But I lost my train of thought. But I think that like things are supernatural, they're paranormal, and we've been invalidated all of our lives. We invalidate children. Oh, there's no such thing as the supernatural. And instead we make fairy tales this kind of diversion or distraction. And the thing is, the supernatural and the paranormal are real, and we're interacting with them all the time. And I would even say electricity is supernatural because Lucifer, Satan, was an angel of light, and he's about electricity. So, so the supernatural is actually an ordinary part of our life, like cell phones or television. Those are supernatural, but they are so part of our lives that we don't regard it as supernatural. And I'll read your message, Lisa. I'm just going to try to finish this thought. So I just want to say people need to realize the supernatural is real, and it doesn't have to be poo-pooed. Because do we poo-poo the cell phone? Do we poo-poo television? No. We just, try to understand it the best we can. And my point in doing this video was that good people are like, well, I'll just go to heaven because I'm a good person. This world, this universe, this paradigm operates off of consent. So Almighty Father God is not going to make you go to heaven without your consent. So that is what salvation is. God is saying, please, would you let me take you to heaven? Jesus is saying, please, can I take you to heaven? I want to take you to heaven. That's what Jesus is saying. Please, I want to take you to heaven. Please come to heaven with me. That's what Jesus is saying. That's what God is saying through Jesus. Please come to heaven with me. If you avoid saying yes to Jesus, if you remain silent to Jesus' plea, you have consented to going otherwise. So that's just what I wanted you to hear, folks. And please explore what the alternative to heaven is. So I'm going to read your message, Lisa. The metaphysical world is crashing the metaphysical word is crashing into the material world. Yeah, and the word world, world, whirling around is creating this world, right? Electricity comes in a wave, high and low frequency that climbs and descends in a repeating pattern. Yeah, and this frequency. Have you heard, Lisa, about 5G? So 5G. I mean, I'm no expert or whatever, but apparently it goes like so many wavelengths a second, a millisecond. And so because it's going all so many wavelengths, and there's so many towers, that there's actually less oxygen in the air. So that's what I think happened in Wuhan, because they had the largest rollout in Wuhan, China, January 2020. Every 10 feet there was a 5G tower, right, for the facial recognition thing. So I think that's why people passed out and dropped dead and stuff, because they were basically suffocating. And they might have just thought, oh, it was just the mask, or those Chinese people who passed out or died, they probably just thought, oh, I guess I'm sick or something like that. Or they probably thought they had the infection or whatever. But I think they were suffocated by the 5G and wearing the masks, and the air quality in China was full of coal smoke. It still is, like, so anyway. So yeah, the supernatural, like, it's right in front of us. We interact with it all the time, and we don't even call it supernatural or paranormal. I mean, supernatural. Like, isn't a cell phone kind of supernatural because it's not wired? So I think 5G also means to destroy. Interesting, to destroy 5 generations. Thank you, Lisa. Button. So to destroy the great grandpa, grandpa, dad, son, and next generation. I mean, do you think, Lisa, we're even going to make it 5 more generations? I'm like, are we going to make it a month more? Because there's not just 5G going on. There's like the hand sanitizers, the suffocation, the isolation, the black magic ritual that's making people suicidal, the chemicals used in the environment, the genetic modification injection. Like, I don't think, like, I don't know if people can handle like 365 more days of this, or even, and then have you been hearing, Lisa, about the sabotage of the food supply? So, Lisa, you say there will be survivors. I agree, there will be survivors. There always are, right? Because that's what the Bible says. I mean, that's what happened with Noah's flood. So, but anyways, my point is, folks, if you're just a nice person and you think God is going to force you into heaven, he's not. So I just wanted to do this video to tell you that you have to choose to be in the kingdom of God, which is, you have to go through Jesus. Jesus is the kind of the advocate for humanity. So please make that choice now. And Lisa says that the food has been poisoned with toxoplasmosis. I've got to look up toxoplasmosis. Is that something to do with mold? Because I'm pretty sure, like, so much of food has mold in it. So I'm just going to wait to hear what you think, Lisa. Okay, so the spore is a fungus. All right. Yeah, and the thing is, from what I understand, mold, in one form, man, mycelium. I think, like, mold has one stage, and then when it's like epidemic, it becomes a fungus. So I think, yeah, so it's mold, and oh wow, so the pneumonia is a fungus, is a fungal infection. That's pretty interesting. Because the thing is, with a lot of electromagnetic exposure to mobile phones and cell towers, that causes mold to grow. And a lot of people actually have like a mold colonization in their sinuses or whatever. And so being around 5G makes the mold, expand expand, explode probably. And so ivermectin, yeah. So ivermectin, from what I hear, it's a parasite cleaner. And I wonder if it does like other immune boosting kind of things. But yeah, to get rid of parasites, that um, that's a huge step. Quinine and grapefruit zinc, yeah, antifungal. Yeah, I remember grapefruit seed extract was really popular, and quinine is that anti-malarial. You can get what's that? It's not a seltzer water. It's tonic water. Tonic water has quinine in it, but a lot of tonic water has corn syrup and all sorts of weird stuff in it. I just want quinine water. But yeah, and then zinc. Zinc is always good. It seems like zinc is a good immune booster. And toxoplasmosis is a brain parasite. Really? Oh my gosh. Really? So cats carry toxoplasmosis. Um, Fever tree. Really? Okay, I'm gonna look for some fever tree tonic water. Yeah. All right. I've seen it around. I just didn't think to look at it. Um, but yeah, I think tonic water or quinine is a good thing to do. And have you heard, Lisa, about people making their own? They get like organic grapefruit, and I guess they're like boiling up the grapefruit rind, and they make their own quinine. The crazy cat lady has toxoplasmosis. Okay, you've heard about the grapefruit rind. So I mean, yeah, I hear people who have a lot of cats, or who have cats. They can have this weird. Now I'm remembering, they have this weird brain behavior. It's like self-destructive or something like that. So ginger root works for toxoplasmosis. I mean, ginger root is so potent. And I bet if ginger root works, I bet horseradish works. Because horseradish, oh my gosh, it's like so painful. I have these like horseradish peas, like these little snacks, and it's just like, it hurts. But I figure it's good for me. But yeah, so like wasabi, like the wasabi paste in sushi. Like I had some sushi like last week or so, like twice in a row, because the sushi was good, and it was cooked, or so they said. They said it was a cooked, because I'm scared of eating raw fish, but my stomach was making all sorts of noise. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not growing parasites. Um, so anyways, I think ginger root, horseradish, wasabi, those really potent, pungent herbs can be helpful, as long as it doesn't hurt your stomach too much or have a real allergy. So Lisa Button says females with high speeding tickets and accidents may have multi-cat households. Wow, data from insurance industry. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Lisa, thank you so much for saying that, because so I never learned how to drive, so I'm walking a lot. And I find that people lately, maybe I would say the past 6 years, drivers are so careless. And maybe drivers, the people who are speeding or whatever, maybe they have that toxoplasmosis. So toxoplasmosis is curable. But Lisa, would you say that most doctors don't want to even talk about parasites? They don't want to heal this stuff. I think they want to put people on Prozac, and they want the infection to get so bad that they need like heart medication or diabetes stuff. But I agree, parasite infections are curable. But like what's been going on with the paste, the horse paste, they don't want people to know. Yeah, they make money treating it, treating each problem on the ladder. Like first the person has a cold, so they give them cold medicine, and then they have like lung failure or whatever, and they just go down the list. But well, I am going to try to work on getting some vitamin D, and I'm going to go get some of that um, Fever Tree tonic water. And now that I'm reading Fever Tree, of course, that tonic water is probably meant for fevers. But I agree, Lisa, toxoplasmosis has been weaponized. I think, right? Like, isn't so many aren't, I mean, even the common cold has been weaponized. You know what's also been weaponized in a way? Like our minds have been weaponized, but actually human health has been weaponized. Because if you look at the picture of okay, the light less sugar. Okay, so I'll get the less sugar Fever Tree. But if you look at what happens when a body is detoxing, like they have the pictures of the cell and the picture of the CV, the Corona beer, um, it looks the same. So when a body is detoxing, they call that a disease. They called it that disease. So yeah, like even health has been weaponized. So, anyways, I'm gonna go get some of that Fever Tree tonic water. If as long as it doesn't have so I'll look for the no sugar one because I don't like drinking aspartame. I don't even like the taste of it. So hopefully it's just tonic water. But yeah, good reminder about zinc, grapefruit seed extract, and that ivermectin horse dewormer. And you mentioned one other thing, but people can just check out the chat. So I'm going to go for now. But thank you so much, Lisa, for jumping on and making some great suggestions and actually helping educate me. Like I hadn't been thinking about toxoplasmosis. And that actually just helps me know that a lot of people who are driving, because I'm like, are they crazy? So zinc, okay. But like, I was like, are people mean? And no, they might have toxoplasmosis or some other parasite infection that's interfering with people's impulse control. Because it seems to me people have so little impulse control nowadays. But like Lisa was saying, uh, things have been weaponized, infections have been weaponized. So we can't really expect humans to behave like they did 10, 20 years ago. So that's really helpful for me to realize. But so, well, thank you, Lisa. And I'm going to go for now. And folks, just remember you got to talk to God. Please talk to God and talk to Jesus. And God bless.